JAMB had earlier assumed the position that candidates below 18 years at the point of enrollment for this UTME will not be eligible. It caused public furor, and the National Assembly stepped in. Some arm twisting took place. You know, the Nigerian public is a huge one, and there are segments, or if you like, there are compartments. It's a compartmentalized public. So we're looking at, and this matter is this 2025 university, well, tertiary matriculation exam, which we use the metaphor JAMB to represent. So here JAMB. Don't take it too much to heart if it doesn't quite fit into grammar. When somebody says, I sat for JAMB, or I did JAMB, you really cannot do JAMB. You can't sit for JAMB. Why? Because JAMB is Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board. So you cannot possibly sit for board. But you can sit for exams organized and facilitated by this board. So if you hear us in Nigeria say, I did JAMB, don't query the grammar. Just take it that we know what we are saying. What we are saying is that we have actually participated in the matriculation exam, tertiary matriculation, university, polytechnical, colleges of education, matriculation, everything is tertiary. So I just captioned this discussion. Is it actually a discussion? This presentation, I said 2025 UTME, matters arising. So there are matters arising from the exams conducted recently. Well, we are not focusing on the history of JAMB, but I think it bears to know that the first public performance of JAMB was in 1978. And the pioneer executive secretary was somebody Angulu. I still remember one Angulu. I don't remember the other name now. And it was headquartered in Lagos that time in 1978. Probably it came up in 1979. I don't remember, 77, but 1978 it went public and organized the first joint admissions and matriculation exam in Nigeria. That was the beginning. But now, let's do a quick rundown of the performance statistics. You know, I have said it is matters arising. So, from the reports made, these matters are in public view. They're in the public domain, so you can easily access them. 1,955,069 candidates enrolled for this exam. 1,955,069 candidates. Overall, 1,500,000 of these 1,009 scored below 200. Well, let's put it this way. There are 4 subjects. English language is compulsory. It's a mandatory course you must take. You know, right now in Nigeria, you cannot proceed to anywhere for tertiary education if you do not have credits in English and mathematics. But at the UTME level, English is a mandatory entry for every candidate, regardless of what you want to study, regardless of your discipline. So we have English, and then 3 other subjects which a candidate chooses, and these subjects must reflect and relate to a chosen course of study. You know, you are usually allowed to pick, well, I don't know, now it used to be 3 courses, or you propose 2, 3 courses in the order of preference. The most preferable one at the top, and then maybe 2. 1 university choice, 1 polytechnic choice, and 1 college of education choice, or 1 thing. That's how they do it. So 1.9 candidates registered. 4,756 candidates scored 320 and above. 4,756 out of this 1.9 scored 320 and above. 983,187, that's adds up to about 50% of the total enrollment figure. Remember the total 1.9. So 983,187 scored between 166 and 199. Wherever you are, in your shop, en route, in your car, even maybe, who knows, you are probably in one of the assemblies, state, Senate, or House of Reps, but you have a plug-in, something is plugged into your ear. You can hear us loud and clear. Probably what our presentation will inspire you to make a presentation on the floor of the house, wherever you are. Let me take this again. 983,187 candidates scored between 166 and 199. 7,658 candidates scored between 300 and 319. 7,344 candidates scored between 250 and 299. 24,535 scored less than 100. That's 100 and below. Take note, there are 4 subjects, and each subject is contributes 100 points to the pool. So at the end of the day, the total score obtainable is 400. That's the maximum obtainable score, 400. Now, 24,535 scored less than 100. You know, JAMB had earlier assumed the position that candidates below 18 years at the point of enrollment for this UTME will not be eligible. It caused public furor, and the National Assembly stepped in. Some arm twisting took place, and then officially now in Nigeria, at 16, a child is eligible to make that transition from secondary school to tertiary. 16 years. Because if you see, I've spoken here about the proposed new national policy on education. Well, it's a policy, an adjustment of somewhere, that this child will be in school till 16 years. Till 16. So at the end of 16 years, it is assumed that the child is mature. Emotionally, well, physically I do not know, but intellectually is ready to proceed to higher education. So, going by this understanding, this policy adjustment, underage candidates were allowed to, that's 16 years, about 16 years, were allowed to enroll. And how many were they? They were 40,247. 40,247 underaged candidates were allowed to sit for this exam. And going by the report that JAMB provided, only 416. Now, okay, let's understand this. That underaged but exceptional candidates, I think that's the qualification. Not just an underaged, exceptional, in other words, gifted. It's amazing how God made all of us. We don't have the same intellectual capacity. Yes, we don't have that. As a function of many variables, genetic, hereditary issues are involved, environmental issues are involved, nutritional issues are involved, access to Medicare at all ages, especially pediatric children. Those are serious factors that actually define our intellectual output. They are the things. So when they say gifted, if you encounter a gifted child, they're talking of IQ. The IQ reads amazing figures, and if you read about them, thank God for technology. You can check online and you see at 12 years some children they're actually doing PhD in some places, but certainly it will not happen in Nigeria. Our structure will not allow that to happen. First of all, they will say 12 years. Our minimum thing for leaving secondary school is 16, so it's not allowed. Okay, university education basically is 4 years, averagely. Okay, how about the 4 years? Let's leave that. Now, 440,247 underaged but considered exceptional candidates were allowed to register. And then the results were sorted out and analyzed, and it from what JAMB gave out now, only 416 of these 40,000 plus had scores that are said to be consistent with the concept of exceptional ability. In other words, only 416 have scores that will reflect what you even suspect to be, this candidate has to be exceptional. Does that tell you anything? It tells you that for now in Nigeria, maybe I don't think we are equipped yet to be able to determine what performance is exceptional. So maybe that's why schools and parents will come out and say, this is my son. He was 2 years old. He could read A, B, C to Z. Some parents tell you like that by 2 years, he was already singing the national anthem by heart. You say, this amazing child. He could read this. He could read the headlines and bylines on television. And they put pressure. Now, if I have the money, I take my child to one of the best schools and I tell them that, look, this my baby is exceptional. I want him in that class. Is it not? Money answers many things for people. And it's even part of the corruption. And we go and put unnecessary burdens on children. By the time you tell a child that, look, baby, you are gifted, and the child, you go and fix the child in a cycle of gifted people, really gifted people, then you put unnecessary pressure on your child to keep pace with those who are naturally gifted. We are teachers, and proudly so too. I've encountered gifted people, even at tertiary education level. The people I have taught, I've seen gifted people. Once you identify one in your class, you prepare well before you go to teach that class. But that child is going to ask you questions. As you are making presentation, he's looking at you. He will write, check with his note, consult something. When you see his hand going up, your heart skips a beat. So only 416 candidates register scores that are compliant and reflective of exceptionality, intellectual exceptionality. Well, of course, 71,701 candidates were absent. For whatever reason, we do not know. So you wonder why isn't that significant? Well, maybe when you balance it against 1.9 million, only 71. Why would Why were they absent? Maybe I wish JAMB would do some cursory investigation to find out, to determine why. Is it that they could not get to their centers, or they could not locate their centers, or they were posted far away from home and they decided that you need to be safe to go to school, you need to be alive to go to school, or something? I wish somebody who has connections to JAMB will please help us tell them to do some casual investigation. Why this level of absenteeism? And then 2,185 cases are under investigation for sundry matters relating to examination malpractice or misconduct, whatever, breach of examination principles or guidelines of ethics. And so far, 97 cases have been established of exam misconduct. 97 cases established, 2,185 under investigation. That's the record. Now, a number of factors have been adduced as being responsible. In fact, there's outrage. Yesterday, I was reading of one barrister, somebody who has vowed to initiate a court case against JAMB for over the manner in which this last exam was conducted, and that he was giving JAMB 14 days to explain or to oh God. Well, somebody will tell us that is the beauty of democracy. It's giving JAMB 14 days, after which he will institute a case against JAMB on behalf of parents of this unfortunate, according to him, candidates, and that JAMB should cancel the exam, cancel the results, and organize a fresh one, properly coordinated and facilitated and spread over a period. My little baby will say that, isn't that funny? It's really funny. Oh God. Well, that's what it is. In a democracy, you are expected to have your say, so he can go ahead and institute his case. But well, I have looked at the arguments for against that people have made, and from the totality, you are able to, I'm sure someone also has been monitoring public response to this matter. The issues, there are government-related factors responsible for what happens, school-related factors, student-related, that's candidate-related, society, technology, exam body. So we are all culpable in this matter. Parents, all of us. Now let's look at them. People, well, they started by laying the blame very squarely on the doorstep of government. And they say, are we surprised? Okay, first of all, let me say, JAMB is saying by the executive secretary that the result this year is consistent with the trend over the last 10 years. And anyone who has studied the trend over the last 10 years will see that there is consistency. And now let me show you something. That in the last, how many years? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Somebody has done, I saw it somewhere, Vanguard News, that if we look at the UTME performance trends over time, then we shouldn't be surprised that this is the trend we have. Now, according to the analysis, that in 2007, we're discussing research. If there's someone out there listening to us, I wish you would get inspired to want to research into the performance trends. You can even take it from, we're talking of cross-sectional and longitudinal. Who knows? Maybe you want to do from 1978 to date. How many years now? 40 something? 1978 to 2005. Will that be 47 years? That's about 47 years or so. Maybe you just want to do how has performance varied over this period? It will be very interesting to know how this thing has gone. But this one said in 2007, the performance, the pass rate was 66%. In other words, 66% of the total enrollments in 2007 passed. 66% of them passed. That is, if there were 100 candidates, 66 passed. If there were 1,660 candidates passed, that was good. About 50. Then in 2008, it dropped to 63% pass. In 2010, it was 41% pass rate. In 2015, it was 30%. In 2019, it was 24%. In 2023, it was 23%. And in 2025, the pass rate, 22%. So you see, so when the executive secretary, Professor Loyede said this, that the performance this year is consistent with the trend. This is the point he was making. And when you look at it, you are not surprised. There are many factors that would explain this performance. We are not justifying anything. But let's see. What have people said? They said, go and look at how much does Nigerian government appropriate for education. It's pitiable. But when you garbage in fact, if you garbage in and you get quality out of it, you should be, those days they used to talk of genie, or the spirit, genie in the machine. You throw in rubbish and it gives you value. It doesn't work. There is no wand that you wave. You wave a magical wand. Or we read those days in our secondary school. I can't remember the class now. English textbook, one comprehension passage of Aladdin and the 40 Thieves. And they went to hide their loot in a rock, and somebody who was hiding, a hunter was nearby. They will come to the rock and say, "Open sesame," and the rock will open. They will go and load their gold, the stolen gold and things, and diamond and silver. So this man waited until the robbers loaded the place, and they say, "Close sesame," and the rock closed. After they had gone, he went there and said, "Open sesame," and the thing opened. Those things don't work. They only live in children's imagination. That's why our children grow up and think that there are fairies all over that can change a princess to a toad, until a prince comes along with riding a white horse and would pass by one pond, and the toad will be inside there, and the prince will come down to take some water to cool himself. And then, because it was so programmed, that this princess will be a toad until one prince will come by. The time will not be given, of course. Those things they added to the suspense we got from stories. And as soon as he would take the water from the pool or river or whatever by the roadside, there appears a beautiful princess. And they always got married and they lived happily ever after. But that's in the world of children. You grow up and discover that those things, they don't exist anywhere. So here we are. In Nigeria, how much is budgeted for education? That's a question we want to ask ourselves. And so a number of respondents who were cornered to sample their opinion said, look, the problem is caused by government. You can't look at the school system. Look at education generally. Look at the infrastructure. Look at the facility. Look at everything. Then others say, even that which is budgeted, appropriated, because there is poor or weak monitoring and evaluation of expenditure or spending. That's why so much fraud because there's no accountability. Nobody asks for accountability. And in fact, somebody says, when you appoint an individual to public office on the basis of political or whatever patronage, what do you get? You know, I'm a governor, and then I'm the visitor to the state university. Then I have my in-law, who's one person in the university system, professor. I go and make him vice chancellor. I say it's acting vice chancellor, and allow him to stay there for as long. So it says that the Nigerian public service does not usually demand accountability because the positions are obtained by patronage. Sometimes people are invited for interviews they're asked to apply, and they come to be interviewed for public places. Somebody comes at the tail end of the list of people in the scoring, was the one that gets it. Sometimes someone who didn't appear for interview at all is the one who gets the job. So are you expecting accountability? He says that is why. So even what is budgeted for education is not disbursed accountably, and nobody is asking. So why should our children not fail? Someone says, are there teachers in the school? And truly, let me ask you, dear listeners out there, are there teachers in the school near you? Why don't you just take a walk there and see? Take a stroll. If there are teachers, they are probably employed by the community. The only person employed there is the principal, as is under dire threats, forbidding to collect any support, allow any support, especially monetary, from community. So we don't have enough teachers. And even those that there are, there is aging. The teaching workforce is also suffering from aging. And because of the general employment environment, many people are tempted to reduce their age. And all it takes is to go to a court and depose to an affidavit and claim that at the time of your birth, there were no records. Somewhere in your box, your birth certificate or documents are there. So when you see a worker who is 55 in the public service, he's probably 65. He has taken 10 years out of the thing in order, what people tell you, I've encountered people say, okay, I no quick get job, so I need to work longer. If I put my real age, it means I go quick come out. So even when we say aging workforce, those who are in position, who are on the payroll of government, many of them are older than their peer. They are older than their peer because they have adjusted their ages. And so, hello.
Hello. Good morning, my mentor, my dad.
Good morning.
Everything when it comes to academics.
Good morning, A.B. White. We're glad to hear from you.
Good morning, sir.
How are you?
A couple of minutes ago, I saw the flyer of this program.
Okay.
I couldn't actually start with you guys. The topic caught my attention.
Yeah.
Because it's something that I would say I've been researching into.
Oh, good.
Yes,
Good. Yes.
So now, there isn't any way we can totally heap the blame.
Yes.
On the students.
No. We are not yet.
Nothing at all. Whatever be the condition, the government is it doing this, is it doing that, maybe the teachers are not performing up to their expectation or whatever. What about the JAMB itself?
Yes, we will get to JAMB.
You understand, sir?
Yes.
So now, taking a look at the performances 2015, as proclaimed by JAMB.
Yes.
In 2015, sir.
Yes.
I think about 10.06% we were able to pass.
Yes.
Yes. In 2016,
yes,
we had
good. Yes, I don't have that.
2017, we had 27%.
Oh, good. Back.
2018, 25%, 25.09%.
All right.
2019, 22.64%.
Okay.
2020, 20.75%. 2021, 12.48%. 2022, 21.50%. 2023, 24.00%. 2024, we had 23.88%. And this particular year, we have approximately 21.50%.
Good.
And see, within this range, we had 2096 to be the year of best performance.
Okay.
This pass mark is judged from candidates that scored 200 marks and above.
Okay.
As judged by JAMB.
Yeah.
So, sir, is it that upon the whole preparations by the students, upon the fund poured into education by various governments, is it that something meaningful, something positive, is it yielded from it?
Yeah.
You understand, sir?
Yes, I do.
Or is it that the students are not making judicious use of whatever be the resources at their disposal?
Okay.
Or is something going wrong with JAMB?
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
Now, because on social media and otherwise, I will try to collate information from both sides, from all the sides, all the stakeholders that are involved.
Yes.
So now, some students have come up openly to stipulate that they are not going to accept the results, the outcome of this year JAMB. Some actually sat for it 2 years ago, a year ago, and this year. They passed. However, that's why they passed. You know, we do always say that JAMB doesn't have pass mark. It's the school in question as well as the specific course you are going for that ultimately determines if you are going to gain admission or not.
Yeah.
Yes, because there are some schools that will be admitting less than 200 scores.
Yes.
We know that.
Yes.
There is no way they are going to leave a back home to pass from one year to the other. They have to admit, and that they must do, sir.
Yes.
Got it. So now, like there is this CEO of Educare, Alex Oya.
Yes.
He has come out openly to say that he's going to sue JAMB, that is demanding full disclosure of UTME marking sheets and students' scoring details.
Okay.
That they are going to go to court for it.
Okay.
You understand, sir?
Yes.
Then there is this other case that is trending now, that the guy is reversed in biology. In fact, he has been taking biology for 18 years now. Then the guy scored, I think, let me see the score. The guy scored 37 over 100 in biology.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yes.
There are some anomalies that you know when they happen to you. You know something that is not emanating from your own end must have been the cause.
Yes.
So people are coming out openly to challenge these results.
Yes.
Yes, I know. Some are going to say true. They will succeed. We know why some are only doing it based on the fact that they have seen people try to come out and challenge the results.
Yes.
So there is one particular one. I think this guy's case, the guy wrote JAMB last year. He wrote JAMB last year.
Yes.
And the name is Ophili something. I don't want to disclose the full name. Even the registration number is with me here.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that this guy got 314 last year.
Yeah.
But this year, the guy scored 167.
Yeah.
If this guy is the real person that did the JAMB last year, and between the JAMB of last year and that of this year, he must have prepared more than what he had then.
Yes.
Now the guy is scoring 167, all the way from 314.
Yeah.
But he couldn't use that particular score to secure admission into the medicine that he applied for in one of our Eastern universities.
Okay.
So, by analogy, if this guy is sane and actually he scored that score last year, interpolating it, there is no way, even though there is a reduction, there is, even though if I were to be the guy, sir, even though I did not prepare at all, I should still score around what I scored last year.
Yeah.
You understand, sir?
Yes.
So why that discrepancy?
Okay.
There are so many cases that JAMB supposed to come out and clarify.
Yeah.
Yes, we know our children, students don't read anymore. They don't care about education. They believe that school is a scam, that they don't know school is never a scam, and it will never be a scam.
Yeah.
Despite our pattern of education, is it benefiting us?
Yeah.
Now, our students cannot be this poor. Yes, that is my take. We know they are poor, but how come the result is this poor? JAMB has to come out boldly with their marking scheme, with whatever be out there, choose their correct answers, and let us know this is their time. So do you know that ever since the onset of JAMB, I think since 1978, they've never come out and say this is the correct answer to so of our question. Yes, even the people that you say, oh, go and buy JAMB past questions and answers. JAMB has never one day openly come out to disclose their answer to a particular question.
Yes.
Bodies just assemble themselves and prepare all those booklets and sell out. So it is high time we demanded that JAMB should come out openly, boldly, and let us know their format. Yes, JAMB, we know it's not an exam that you can just come up with and say, yo, you are playing with. We know there are some brilliant students, brilliant teachers that would actually write JAMB in the particular subject they tutor and fail. We know, but this massive failure is too much for us to stomach, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Sir White. Thank you for your precise thoughts on the matters under discussion. Remember, we said it's matters arising from this year's JAMB. And we are looking at factors assumed to be responsible for the performance. And you look at the trend, it's been downward. Now we've mentioned, we'll touch about some of the things that our our caller has explained. So we have inadequate teacher supply, I've said. And one thing about this issue of teacher supply, it doesn't touch only primary or secondary. It cuts across. You go to many universities. I think Nigeria has up to 300 plus universities now. There are many universities that have one professor. In the entire university, only one professor. But when they are doing accreditation, they go hire professors from all over, create emergency offices with name tags and timetable to show. I tell you this. So it's a scourge. This undersupply, inadequacy in teaching staff cuts across, not just primary or secondary. Then, of course, even the teachers are not properly motivated. That's what the public says. And that we have inadequate and obsolete teaching, learning facilities in our schools. A trip to any school will show you this. And then some parents or some people, members of the public, say there is poor or non-existent post-classroom learning support for our children. What does it mean? Once a child closes from school, that's the end until he comes back the next day. And if it is holiday, for as long as the holiday lasts, there is no arrangement for any continuity at home. So post-classroom support, weak or non-existent. And so what is not reinforced, it will easily leave memory. And some members of the public also say that there is declining public appreciation of education. Declining public appreciation. So you find parents, especially in our area here now, in many places, who labor to procure Android phones and laptops for children to go and learn how to scam people online, that they call Yahoo now. They can't wait to go through the period of tutelage, either in a classroom or in an apprenticeship scheme. Go to any workshop now, or any environment where hands-on services are rendered. You will not find young people. You find only one master. He has no apprentice. And so when you bring some jobs to them to do, he has to enter under your car. He will come out to come and jack something. If he's looking for a spanner, will come out from under the car to go and get it. No apprentice. So declining public appreciation of education. And some people, they say that, look, teaching has become open access. What does it mean? Anyone can walk in, stroll into the classroom and become a teacher. No proper preparation. And so they're asking, are we surprised? Why are you surprised that our children are performing like this? Is teaching specialized? They say it's open access. That's the point. And even we said the factors are related to many individuals or to many groups. Some of the candidates themselves, because somebody went to town and even interviewed them, that they say that there is this poor digital literacy. In fact, one man writing for Vanguard said it's a situation in which digital native candidates, they are born into, they call them Gen Z or Gen whatever they are born into technology. They have no problem with password. We at our age now, they say we are immigrants. We are digital immigrants. But we are better than some of these digital natives. We can pull our weight anywhere. So it says it is digital native candidates versus analog rooted systems. You get that point, dear listeners? That are you surprised that students perform like this when it is digital natives who are being constrained to function in an analog rooted system? I think that's a point there that we need to think about. And the candidates said that they had problem with deleting wrong answers, or when they made mistakes, they couldn't get around how to delete. These are ICT technical related. Some complained of malfunctioning mouse. Actually in English, the plural of mouse is mice. I don't know now in ICT. If you put two of those things together, how do we call them? Are they mouses or they are mice? So they said they had problem with their mouses. So for the purpose of our discussion, mouses, but the grammar is mice. So that the thing will hang, and they could not navigate. Some complained that they had problem with submission. They finished quite all right. To submit became an issue. Probably some of those cases that are said to be absent, those 71,000 that were absent, suppose it was issue of failure to submit or inability to submit as they should have. Some said they had problem with moving from one question item to another. Maybe if the screens were touch screen, then you could use your finger. But now you have to use a mouse or use the keyboard. And using the keyboard to move around the cursor can be an issue. Then they said some complained that apart from other technical glitches of your screen just hanging for a long period before it will now recover, that some of them said they could not use the system calculator, since they were not allowed to bring in the calculator in the system, how to use it to do your computing, that it was an issue. And so that's from the candidates' point of view. Not only that, the candidates also agreed that they didn't actually that they took JAMB for granted, that they didn't actually prepare as they should have prepared. And somebody claimed, a teacher said that that poor preparation, we are not supposed to blame the candidates in the entirety. That JAMB syllabus is slightly higher than school certificate syllabus, which is true. And that the timing of JAMB in April, May, does not take in the fact that we are just preparing students for school set. They have just started their WASC now, West African School Certificate exam. And that if JAMB syllabus is slightly higher, how do you hope to use a slightly lower syllabic preparation for a higher level of syllabic intensity? Say, it will not work. So some of the concepts, some of the principles that are tested in JAMB have not been covered at the secondary school level. So why not put your JAMB at a period that the students will have finished with their school certificate exam and they will have had time? Well, those are some of the things. Then some people complained of distance of exam center from homes. Some colleagues were arguing. People say, look, why wouldn't they fail when you get a child to wake up and be at a center at 6:30? What magic? Another colleague said, look, let us not over-pamper these children. It's okay. What of those who strolled from their houses to the exam centers and still failed? What do you say about that? If you attribute failure to distance from home, what of those who just walked down to the center and still failed? What do we say about that? So, some people also accused this generation of declining reading in interest in reading. And isn't it true? In fact, I know as a facilitator of online learning, I'm aware that ability to use your handset, your Android, and Google things does not translate to using that same device to facilitate learning. It doesn't. It can look up the analysis of the match between Real Madrid yesterday and Barcelona that they call El Clasico. He will go there, he knows where to find it. But if he's looking for a principle or a concept in a subject area, you cannot transfer competency in this area straight to the other one. They are not transferable. So the fact that our children have been using Android phones does not mean that when they get to exam hall, is it not the same distance? Your phone has a keypad, just as the laptop or tabletop desktop has keypad. You still have to navigate as this one navigates. They are almost. Hello. Very briefly because our time is up.
Yeah, I know, sir.
Yes.
Our students, our children, they don't even know how to use whatever we think they know how to use.
I agree with you. I agree.
Sincerely speaking, they don't know how to use them. If they know how to use them very well, there is no way they are not going to transfer that knowledge to the use of system.
Yes.
They don't know how to use them at all.
Yes, they don't.
Google has its own language.
I agree.
So you just okay,
yes.
Let me stop it.
I agree.
Thank you so much.
I've asked in some of the classes I teach, sometimes we come across principles or concepts. I just somebody look it up on your phone, Google it, and then you wait for a response. Maybe only one person. They are all carrying these things. Some will hold their phone and be leaning over to be looking at what a next door or a next seat neighbor is doing to find what you're asking them to find. So, Sir White, you're very correct. That's the thing. So, and somebody asked, a parent says, is JAMB, does JAMB evaluate competence in TikTok? So the children are very good at doing TikTok and videoing and recording and sharing. But unfortunately, that is what JAMB does not test. So you have a number of issues: social media distraction, continuous deployment of unproductive teaching, learning methodology by our teachers, and surely, availability of quick fix performance alternatives. Quick fix. No, we're talking about miracle centers where you can load. In those days, I don't know if they still do it now. People will come from across the southeast and south of Nigeria to some rural, remote villages in Edo State. And you wonder, how did they know of these villages? Isolated villages. No network there. They bring candidates from Olu to come and do JAMB in one corner of Edo State, where all the sacrifices have been made to ensure that the miracles happen. So these are some of the things. And we're talking of parental support, parental approval of the study habits of our children. We support them, and the parents are, I'm going to be interested. I want to see how these cases that they threaten JAMB with. One thing, I'm so happy about Professor Oloyede Ishak, who is the Executive Secretary of JAMB. That man knows what he's doing. I'm sure he's waiting for them. They are going to tell them that as long as I'm not aware that even school certificate WAEC has ever had reason to disclose its marking scheme to anybody. There's no examining body that does that. And there must be something, when they say terms and conditions apply, there must be somewhere, somehow, something that covers what our examining bodies do. I'm not subscribing to what they do because you find that JAMB spends time to go around evaluation, physical evaluation of these centers or of facilities that make themselves available to be used as JAMB centers. So I think they will still continue to do it. There are glitches. Nobody is absolving. We are not absolving JAMB. We are all culpable, I've said so. Government, parents, students, schools, all of us. So if we are going to build a Nigeria of our dream, it begins in education. And you, parent, you say your son must read medicine. I mean, why this guy does not like chemistry, does not like physics, he does not like mathematics. And you say you must be the daughter, the father or the mother of a doctor or a lawyer. So why will a child not do poorly? If you are reading any science, engineering, you can be sure that JAMB is no child's play. You are going to be picking physics, chemistry, mathematics, and you are going to be competing with the best people. And because somebody insists you must read biomedical sciences, and you are not, naturally, that is not your area, why will parents not allow their children to do what they have native capacity for? Why not? So if you put your child to go and read medicine, and it costs 150, don't kill him. You better kill yourself because you are responsible. So we're all guilty. I hope that somebody somewhere knows somebody who will tell somebody in National Assembly. We need to begin to look at how all these things work out. Beginning, has any National Assembly ever queried government for poor budgetary allocation to education? Has it ever happened? Let's start there. We are all emotional about this. We are concerned because we are parents. So I hope that we'll continue this conversation. You know our Qalam Radio handles, Instagram, WhatsApp, Telegram. Please get in touch. We'll be happy to hear from you. Thank you very much.